Yo, 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 welcome to another edition of the Geeky Bros podcast. I'm your boy Tactix.
It's your boy Darcy here.
And this is Big Geek Umar. How y'all doing today?
We're doing good, man.
Yeah, I'm
Real good.
I'm chill right now.
Yeah.
So, Darcy, you're happy with going back to It's Darcy?
I just don't know. I'm like, I was like waiting for someone to call me out, and whatever comes out is what it's going to be. Okay, and
Fair enough.
At one point, I'll come up with something good.
Technically, all of them are good.
Just Darcy called.
It's just the delivery, man. Sometimes you're like lackluster. You're like, yeah, it's just Darcy.
I just feel
I'm like, yo, speak up. What was that?
Yo, I don't know. It's just move on. Okay, what are we talking about?
Where's the life, bro?
It's just Darcy over here.
There we
okay,
go.
There we go.
I dig that.
All right. So, what's on the agenda today is
Yeah, sorry, I totally didn't ask you that.
it's fair. I got you covered.
Cool.
So, basically, like the first question I want to ask both you guys and also the audience, for you guys to like audience members, please feel free to like throw all your responses in comment form if ever you feel you either disagree or agree or have an addition that you want to put in. But I want to ask about villains. Excuse me. I don't know why this has been like on my mind a lot, but like I want to talk villains. So my question to you guys is, one, what are your top 3 villains? But there's a second part to it, and which iterations of those villains is your favorite? Top 3 favorite villains and the 3 like characterizations of them. It doesn't have to be live action. It can be like, animated as well.
Got you.
All right.
Comic book related, I'm assuming.
Let's say all across the board.
Oh, he really opens that up. Too many movies. Too many options.
Yeah. Okay, so I think mine are going to be all. You know what? I'm going to go first. I do believe that mine are going to be all like supervillain based, but maybe I'll surprise, because now that I've opened it all up, I'm wondering if I'm missing anything. Okay, number 1, and clearly no one's going to bat an eye that I'm saying this: the Joker.
And that's going to be all of ours.
Okay, so I'm gonna go through my top 3, and then I'm gonna go through my iterations that are my favorite.
All right, do it.
So number 1 is the Joker. Number 2, I'm gonna have to say Magneto.
Fair.
I knew that was going to be one.
Yeah,
That's quality.
yeah. And number 3, ooh, I'm gonna have to go with. I'm gonna have to go with Hannibal Lecter.
Ooh. Okay.
Didn't see that one coming.
Yeah. You threw me off with that one.
Yeah, because aside from like villains who are like, because like, okay, now before I go explain the 3, I'm going to talk about like the iterations. So the Joker, for me, hands down, Mark Hamill animated series. That's the Joker for me, 100%.
Classic.
For Magneto, I'm gonna have to say Michael Fassbender. He's the one I really just like kind of got with him. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Ian McKellen, but like, Fassbender like hit home for me.
Fassbender stepped it up for me. He really even though, and I feel like because he's younger, you get that more in depth, like the closer feeling to his past and what happened to him as a child. He presents a little younger, so it's like you can present that he's like still dealing with it more. Where the Ian McKellen version is like it's always there, but he's had more time with it. So it's like something about it. Keep going. I really agree with you on that one.
Okay, and for Hannibal Lecter, I'm gonna have to go Mads Mikkelsen from like the TV series.
Oh yeah. I am with you on that. That show is amazing.
Yeah.
That show is amazing.
So the reason why Joker, man, like don't feel like I even need to explain it. Like I'm a huge Batman fan. The only other person I know who like loves Batman as much as I do is, well, look at his bed sheet and lamp and t-shirt.
And probably his hat that's backwards.
Yes. But also, like, at the same time, like, the Joker he is madness. He is chaos. He's just like, you don't know what you're going to get with him. Like, I've been reading, watching the Joker my whole life. I don't know what he gonna come next. Like, he doesn't have a thing aside from the fact that he doesn't have a thing. And yeah, so and also, like, Mark Hamill's version is just, it's the voice of madness, and he did such a fantastic job. His laugh is manic and maniacal and scary, but also can be kind of like, it can make you chuckle at the same time too. It's like he just covers everything. And Mark Hamill's like the Joker from the animated series is like honestly the best iteration for me personally. So yeah, like that's why. With Michael Fassbender,
you're gonna be like, it's the best ever, and I'm like, okay, let's get into the debate right now.
With Michael Fassbender, you kind of already talked about it, Darcy, but like for me, that's the like you think he can be saved. You think that he's like you feel you can reason with him, and then he just does shit that's so villainous, but you're just like, oh, but I get it, but dude, why? So it's like, it's the hero that it's the villain that you wish was a hero, but at the same time he's a villain, and he needs to be stopped. And like I've always found that to be like, despite like how the movies went, like in the beginning, like First Class and like Days of Future Past, he was owning it. In Apocalypse, he had a good portion of it, and then it all went to shit. And for Phoenix, I mean, there was some interesting stuff here and there, but like ultimately, it's just like, Fassbender is the Magneto. Like I love. And then with Mads Mikkelsen for Hannibal Lecter, he terrifies me. Also, he's like 1 to 2 steps ahead of everybody. So it's like, I ain't never going to fuck with Hannibal Lecter. If I like find myself in the world of like Hannibal Lecter, I'll be like, okay, Hannibal, I know everything you've done, but like, I'm going to move to Canada, and just like, you just do your thing. I don't want to be anywhere near you, man. Or if you want to kill me, just make it quick. Like, make me dead first, and then start eating me. Like something like that. Like I'll try to negotiate with him to like just like make it nice, and, like quick. But like,
bro, you can't negotiate. That man took one of the most amazing actresses in that show, and that episode when it opened, when you're like, you see her from the side, like, oh, she's still alive. You're like, oh no, she's sliced into 12 individual pieces and framed. As they turn the camera, you're like. Like, nah, bro. There is no nice, bro. Like the nicest you go and get is ending up as like a high end like Kobe beef like level burger. Okay, that's the best you go get.
Yeah, so that's my list. Those are the iterations that are my favorite, and those are the reasons why.
Got you.
So, which one wants to go first? I'm gonna leave this up to you guys this time.
I'm ready to jump. I'm ready to go.
Go on, Darce.
Okay, so here's my list. Okay, all right. I'm not really. All right, fine. I'll put an order on them. Okay. The characters, but it's specifically because of the specific iterations as to why these guys are like my top. Okay, because it's the performances that have always resonated with me. Okay. 1, Joker. 2, Kingpin, and 3, Lex Luthor. Okay. Now. Specific iterations. Joker for me is Heath Ledger. Okay. Heath Ledger, because that movie is one of my all-time favorite movies of all time. That specific iteration of the Joker, even though Mark Hamill is the god of Joker, okay? Something about what he did just sits with me. It's the kind of thing that, you know, when you think of a character randomly at random times for no reason at all, because that performance still is with you. That's the one that really sits with me because it's so just enough different and the same. It's amazing. Kingpin, I'm gonna butcher the last name, but Vincent D'Onofrio. Thank you. Because Kingpin to me was like meh, and then I saw that performance, and I was like, whoa. I love this actor. When he did that for me, I was really enjoying the performance. I was really enjoying his demeanor, and then he bashed that guy's head in with a door, and it switched. I was like, like for me, I'm gonna say it, but for me, that he brought that Kingpin character to the Heath Ledger level. Like he was a Heath Ledger level actor in that character for me. You know, the only failing of that whole character for me was just I wasn't the biggest fan of the last episode of the first season when that whole boss fight. I just didn't like how the fight went down, and that really wasn't the character or the actor, because for both of them they were great, and I was like, I'm not feeling this whole moment. Like you guys are great, but who put you here, right? You know, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And then Lex Luthor, Justice League Unlimited. I'm pretty sure it's Clancy Brown who voiced that.
My man Clancy Brown, yeah.
I just love, like, Clancy Brown is, I love him in general. Like I've loved him ever since Starship Troopers. I just like he's just hilarious. He's in that.
Oh, he was the drill sergeant, wasn't he?
Yeah. He's like so young, and it's like so funny seeing, because I don't think of him being that young, and I see it and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's like a baby. His portrayal of Lex Luthor is like the definitive. Like for me, he's the oh my gosh, I'm flipping the name. You just said it. The Mark Hamill version of the Joker. He's that for Lex Luthor for me, in voice and performance. And I don't know what it is. It's just like I always really liked that character. Like he just like he was so interesting, because in the way that like he is Lex Luthor is the perfect version of the Joker for what you would have for Superman. He's so the opposite, and he, in the sense that Superman is so powerful, so he's so lacking in power. Where the Joker and Batman don't have powers, but they have they're the opposite in what their abilities are, and so. I just love that version of Lex Luthor. I always enjoyed every episode I got to see with him. Always wanted more for him. And every time people talk about putting a Lex Luthor character out there, I'm always comparing it back to Clancy Brown. Can they get to the Clancy Brown level? So
you must have loved the Batman meets Superman animated episodes where Mark Hamill and Clancy Brown, the Joker and Luthor, were working together.
Yeah. I mean, I really wish Justice League Unlimited was back on Netflix, because when it was on Netflix, I used to go through those episodes.
Yeah.
Like the way people go through Friends or The Office. Like I would just like, for me, it was like my running in the background show. So yeah. All right. T.
All right, T.
Oh, that was it. Okay, so. Kind of wish I prepared for this a little bit more. Your answers are so great, man. Damn. Okay. In no specific order, other than my number one.
Before you go,
yeah,
Umar, can we take a bet? Do you think they're all going to be Batman villains?
I don't think so. Actually, I think I know one definitely. I know the number one will definitely be.
Yeah,
but
I know.
But like, I don't know about the rest of them.
I'm just teasing because of like what we said. I just like part of me hopes that they're all Batman villains.
Okay, so my number one is Poison Ivy, and here's why. No.
We all know why.
Got him.
He was not ready.
No, obviously it's the Joker. And the iteration that I liked the most, man, Jack Nicholson did a really great job, but
I was like, damn.
But I gotta side with Darcy on this and go Heath Ledger, mainly because when I first saw the Dark Knight trailer, I loved everything about it except for the portrayal of Joker. And I was shitting on that role so hard. I was like, why did they get this guy from 10 Things I Hate About You and, Brokeback Mountain, Knight's Tale? I'm like, I don't see it. I don't see him as Joker. And I wasn't feeling the makeup. I wasn't feeling the whole thing. And granted, I mean, they didn't really show a whole lot from what I remember in the trailers with Joker. And then you watch the movie and you're just like, I fucking ate every bad word I ever said about Heath and the Joker. I'm like, nope, this guy's the real deal, man. He is the real deal. My hat goes off to him. Jack Nicholson for sure did his thing, but you can't hold a candle to that performance. And he set the bar so high. I don't even Joaquin Joaquin Phoenix, I don't think was on nearly the same level as Heath Ledger. And
I don't even consider that a Joker, but still, I hear what you're saying.
personally, I don't either. And Joaquin Phoenix is a great actor. I have nothing against him. And I think given time, if they do more movies, because that is the beginnings of the, like, it's a Joker origin essentially, right? So I think given time, he can possibly get there. But Heath Ledger's, like, he set the bar so incredibly high that it's like only Heath Ledger, I feel, could match that or exceed that level, right? Unfortunately, we're never going to be able to get that. RIP. But yeah, what he did with that performance absolutely floored me, and it was a great representation of the Joker. It was different, but I just loved the dynamic that he brought to that role.
Yeah. He made you eat your words like he put them in a grenade and stuck them in your mouth.
Yeah, exactly.
Man.
So yeah, man.
Is that a reference to something?
The very beginning of the film when he put the grenade in the guy's mouth and smoke comes out.
Whatever doesn't kill you makes you stranger. Yeah.
I love the prison scene too, by the way. I have to throw this out. My favorite scene is like that whole like cell phone thing. And then he's just like sitting there, he's like, I need my call. And he's that clap. I'm just like, like to my soul, that stuff scares me.
And apparently that was improvised.
Yeah.
The clapping,
yeah.
I think it like, because all the other actors, and you pan to them and you see them all kind of standing like not knowing what to do.
Yeah,
I think it's like that's their real reaction. Like, what do you? This guy is freaking us out right now.
Yeah, he was like really into character. It's like, I know we're acting right now, but I feel like at any moment this motherfucker just might snap. Like, how method is this guy?
Yeah. You know what I love though is hearing Michael Jai White talk about how like off camera he was just joking around, like he was like a normal guy, like he wasn't as method acting as people thought he was, right? Like, want to make it out to be. So it's good to hear that there was like, because I recently watched Knight's Tale just to like honor him and like to re-experience it, and I'm like, he was so good. No, he's going.
And a wholesome guy, man. Like I saw a little bit of the documentary as well, and just everyone talking about him. It just, you could actually, like, going back and watching some of his old movies, you can actually see that genuine presence that he portrayed on and off camera, right? So sad to see him go, man. That's unfortunate, but left a great body of work. So my second pick is Agent Smith from The Matrix.
Oh, okay.
Agent Smith from The Matrix, man. Like fair. Watching that movie, and I mean, say what you will about the sequels, but like, the original, the first movie, that like, he was a fucking badass villain, man. And it was like, I liked the dichotomy between him and Neo and how they were kind of like the yin and yang of each other, kind of thing, like two sides of the same coin. I like seeing that in like in movies where there's like there's this push and pull kind of relationship between the hero and the villain, where it's like they're two sides of the same coin, and either one of them could like transfer over to the opposing side, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like if like, because it's like they're split down the middle in a sense. And so I really found it interesting what Hugo Weaving brought to that character. Very over the top, but not in a way where it's like it's laughable. It's almost like I believe it's over the top, but I believe this for this world, and what he was doing with it was really captivating. And the fight scenes were amazing, and I like how everything kind of unraveled in the sequels as well, in terms of like how Neo ultimately defeated him. Like they kind of fused together as one. Like they were like two opposite forces that eventually had to come together as one, and then that was their ultimate demise, essentially. So I love that character. I love the original Matrix movie. I can't wait to see the fourth installment of it. Unfortunately, Hugo Weaving is not returning. But Agent Smith is definitely on my top 3 badass villains. And then the third one, I have an honorable mention, so I'll mention that one first. Mr. Freeze.
Oh, fair.
Interesting. Okay, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, from the animated animated show. Yeah. Not Arnold.
Yeah,
I still see you, Batman.
You know what killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age.
Oh, oh man. I'm gonna look up. I'm gonna look at Arnold Schwarzenegger, like Mr. Freeze pun right now. I need some more.
Okay, so
Keep
honorable
on.
mention: the animated series is Heart of Ice, Batman's Mr. Freeze. I hear you on that.
Another compelling character. I like how he's a tortured soul, essentially, right? It's hard to see, like, it's my opinion of him is kind of how I view Magneto, and why I think Magneto is also a great villain, and why I agree with your point, in the sense that it's like, yes, he's a villain, but you understand his point. You understand and can emote with his, or sympathize with his ideology, right? Because it's
even
like,
side with him.
Yeah, because like you're not wrong. You're an extremist, but like I get it though. It's like Killmonger is another one where it's like, okay, I get it. I don't agree with all the shit that you're doing to get to your point, but I get you, bro. I feel you, dog. I don't know if I'd be on the sidelines with you, but I could relate.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's about a tortured soul, Mr. Freeze, who is just trying to save his wife by any means necessary. And like we've all been in love before. We all know that we do crazy shit when we're in love, and we're compelled to do some outlandish shit sometimes, right? And that's pretty much what
the movies inspire us.
Yeah, it's like that's really what it is. That's what it comes down to. So I really enjoyed that character. I loved his depiction also in Batman Beyond.
That was a great finale for his character arc.
Oh man, the way they closed that off, so sad, so touching. But Darcy, do you remember that? Do you remember that episode? Where he comes back and he's trying to he's trying to make amends and restore his image in the public eye, but because of all the shit that he had done and put Gotham through, like no one will give him any of that redemption, and so he's got to earn his trust back. But it gets to the point where like he's at wit's end and he has to do some crazy shit again and put on the suit. And
in a way, it's kind of like, not entirely, but kind of like Joaquin Phoenix's like character, where like he's not able to get the help that he needs, and the circumstances kind of force him into being the villain again. Yeah, totally.
That's a debatable issue, but like I definitely see what you guys are saying.
I know it's a far stretch. I'm just saying that there's like an external force that drives the person back into a behavior, kind of a deal.
Yeah.
All right. So you're number 3. That sounds that sounded like an honorable mention. Sound like a number 3, but like I have to know what this number 3 is now.
So I mean, I don't know. I mean, I feel like just because I've seen the movie recently, and I'm also a little apprehensive about putting this guy on my list because in real life he is not a good person.
And I
don't want to give him the credit. Oh man. But he just plays villains so well. And Darcy, yeah, I think you do know. But John Doe from Seven, Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, I knew it was Kevin Spacey. I just knew it. The second you said he's like, he's not a good guy in real life. I was like, Kevin Spacey, because I loved him in House of Cards. And then midway through the show, I was like, why do I feel like this might be who he really is?
Yeah.
I know, this is who he really is. I'm like, yeah, that's why it's so damn convincing.
Yeah.
I see why you were hesitant, man. I see why you're hesitant.
I'm like, because I watched it recently, and I was like, yo, this guy is a fucking terrible person. And then you relate that to his real life, and you're like, oh, he could actually be this in real life. Maybe not as crazy, but I mean, he's kind of close.
Some pretty bad shit.
Yeah. So
I even like him in Superman Returns, and the movie's like one of the worst Superman movies of all time. But like, and I still for some reason, if I have a small place, I don't know why I liked it. For some reason, and I kind of like his character, even though like the whole movie set up to be like campy old Superman.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is like the thing I like about his character in that movie is every time you get the hint of the House of Cards character, every time you get the hint of his real evil, then you're like, oh, that's actually kind of good. And then everything else around it, it's kind of like that whole film was like studio trying to do too much, and then there's moments of like really good performance to come out of it. Yeah. So yeah.
Even in Baby Driver, like the same kind of stylistic character, right? You know what I mean? Where he's like essentially like he was a bad guy, but kind of good, honorable, but still bad, but still like the way he delivers his lines and his persona still gives off that Seven vibe or that House of Cards vibe, where he's just a fucked up individual. He's not a good person, and so that's kind of why I put him on the list.
Well, that's fair. And honestly, like we're not like you're clearly not like agreeing with his politics, and also like
I'm actually sick to my stomach just putting him at number 3 right now.
This is talking about villainy, and it kind of works. Like if based on him being such a crappy person, clearly he can portray villains very well because he just needs to draw on himself.
Yep. So before we transition, I have something I have to throw here. The top 10 Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mr. Freeze lines. Because I have them up here and I'm dying. I'm going to have to interrupt and just throw them out here. Okay, here they go. The Iceman cometh. I can't. That's the last Arnold Schwarzenegger impression I'm going to do. You're not sending me to the cooler.
I already said that one.
Yep. Stay cool, bird boy. It's bad. It's bad. All right, everyone. Chill. This one, if you were attending this event and someone came in and said this, just in general you'd be annoyed, but cool party. Allow me to break the ice. And he's holding a piece of ice when he says it too. This one's not even about being cold, but it's just bad. Adam and Evil. Like it's just lame. Tonight hell freezes over. Tonight's forecast, a freeze is coming. And the best and last one of all is let's kick some ice. So bad.
Oh my God, who wrote this shit? I bet you he ad-libbed all of those.
Yo, I feel like if there's a writer who wrote these, they're like, no, it was ad-libbed. Like,
I did not write that movie.
It's like, yeah, there's like, who wrote this? Like, there's like an intern in the back, like, put those in for Arnold.
Oh man. Okay. Now I actually was worried we would all have a very similar one. It just turned out we only had one similar one,
which tells you that character is the best character.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing that we opened up the spectrum a little bit. So
yeah, that's true. Because otherwise, if we had kept it superhero, actually, I wonder who my third one be. Anyway, that'll be for another edition of the Geeky Bros podcast. All right. So next topic is kind of something that's we've been experiencing it for a while. It's just that we haven't really talked about it, and I think it's a good time to bring it up. So the movie industry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. There's an industry still.
Yeah. So the question I want to pose is the movie industry dead? Will it recover?
Man, I don't know how you recover from this because the movie theaters, they don't make their money from the movies themselves. They make it from concessions and getting bodies into seats. And even if the movie theaters still remain open, they still have to abide by the COVID protocol, which is spacing people out. What is it, like 6 feet or whatever?
Yeah.
Which means
that's like 2 spots.
Yeah. So that means there's less people coming into the theater, and not to mention, people are still going to have apprehensions about going to the theaters to begin with, right? And so now that decreases the likelihood of getting of increased numbers, right? So I don't know. I feel like this is going to be a blockbuster situation where, honestly, it pains me to say that because I love the movie going experience as much as I stream movies as well. I love there's something about just the
Something
experience of
different about going
just
to a
going
movie.
to the movie theater with your girl and just having
Or-
or with your boys and having a good time, and you had to throw that in there, right?
I was like, why are you throwing us under the bus?
Yeah. Yo, go with your girl. It was like, what about me?
I was like, we went to a lot of movies. Was I
Uh,
shit?
yeah, but I just love that environment. I love especially like I think back to the moment when we watched I watched Endgame with you guys, right?
No.
I did. Who did I watch it with?
Didn't you watch it with? We watched Infinity War together.
Fuck, I don't know. Maybe I watched it with Matt. I don't know. But anyway, just so I feel like the experience would have been way different if I never saw it in the theaters and I just streamed it versus if I saw it in the theaters and I'm sharing a moment, an experience with everyone else. It's like I don't watch sports, and like beforehand I never really understood like what the big deal was with people and like their fascination with sports and like going all crazy and like going to making it a point to like go to like a bar and like watch a fighting event or a Super Bowl with a bunch of people until Endgame.
I get it now too.
I fully understand that moment because the moment, for example, when Cap gets Thor's hammer, everybody got up there like, oh shit, oh, like, and it's just like it's like I had no control of my body. Like I had no intention to do that, but my body just went, oh okay, yeah, let's do it, right? And so I was just like going crazy, and something about that, the movie on its own merits is great by itself.
Yeah.
But that experience alone just kind of amplified it for me. And like if the movie industry does tank, that's one of the elements that I'm going to miss is sharing that experience with other people, right? And yeah, man, it's unfortunate because COVID is really putting a wrench in a lot of businesses, not just the movie theaters and stuff, right? So it's really hard to say where things are going to be going. I mean, with look at all the movies now that are making the transition to streaming. We have Disney Plus or like
Wonder
Woman and all like
Black Widow
probably chances are it's probably going to, right? So
I feel like recently they said they're gonna the James Bond film.
Yeah. And and what's gonna be shitty about that too now is that I feel as though, and I've already gotten a notification from Netflix saying that they're increasing their prices, right? And so I remember back when streaming first came out, and like Netflix was like what $6.99, $7.99 or something like that, and it was like, oh well, there's no need for cable now. I could just discontinue my cable service because this shit is cheaper. And now we're seeing an inflation in these prices, and it's like, and not only that, it's like now we got to get fucking Netflix, we got to get HBO Max, we got to get all the Disney Plus, we got to get all like Amazon Prime, all these other, well, Amazon Prime is trash, but all these other things, right? You know what I mean? Like, I'm
Don't
sorry,
knock
but
the
like,
thing that gave us the boys, man.
Yeah.
that's the only thing. But like,
you know what though? I have Amazon Prime, and the only reason that I actually have it has nothing to do with the fact they have the movies, and I'm totally glad they throw the movies in there because like I have Amazon Prime for shipping. Like that's why I have it, right?
Me too.
If it was just for the movies, yeah, no, I'd be downloading that stuff elsewhere.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's my view on it. It's very unfortunate. I want to keep the faith and hope that they have the capacity or the ability to redeem themselves and or not redeem themselves, but to to save themselves from this pandemic. How that happens, I honestly don't know, given the financial crisis that we're in. But because I don't want to just be watching movies on streaming because I'm probably going to be less inclined to watch as many movies.
Yeah.
To be honest, because again, I really appreciate the movie going experience.
How about you, Darce?
I mean, I want to actually respond to the last thing you said. So like, and this is not going to be a for the movie industry dying, but I actually find it. I know it's like I want to die because I like my streaming. No, so I actually am more inclined to watch more different stuff with streaming,
Mhm.
and I've had a feeling for a while about what streaming's place is. I don't want its place to be the entirety of everything. I
Mhm.
love going to the movies, right? I've loved it ever since I was a little kid. My mom and I used to go a lot when I was young. That was a really big thing for me. That created a foundation for me. That, like, any woman that I'm with, that if they didn't really like going to the movies, that's probably one of the reasons why we ain't gonna be together.
Yeah.
Because it's like my partner and I, we go like before COVID, we would go like sometimes like every weekend, back to back, and then we get to a point where like, all right, too many movies, nothing good out, let's go, let's do something else, right? But we love going to that experience, and I love going with the boys and doing that, and so it's a very big and important thing. But I've always felt that, like, so there's the argument in the last, like, say, decade, that it's increasingly harder for smaller films to have a place, right, in the theater, and against these blockbusters. And I'm like, okay, yeah, but like, these people make these arguments, probably don't realize that if the theater is full of just like small films and not like these big blockbusters, people wouldn't be going out to the theater as much. Trust me, like, they just won't be, right? And it's because, why? Because there's a lot of things in life to distract them, right? It's not just the fact that they're streaming. They're saying, oh, it's just streaming. Like, no, some of these people are just deciding to go to dinner, right? Like, they're just deciding to do something else because the movies aren't enticing, and streaming's a better place for them. Yeah, they might not make the same amount of money, but you have to find a different avenue, because people won't want to invest the cost of the theater for the potential on, I don't know if this is going to be good. That's why people love The Rock, because they're like, I know what I'm going to get for my money I spend at the theater, regardless of the quality. I know I'm going to get X level. It may not be here, but I'm at least going to be here every single time. I'm going to enjoy myself. I hate going to the theater and going, yeah, well, it was critically acclaimed, but I didn't really I didn't really get it. And I spent like $40 on popcorn, So, but I want the theater. What's that?
Well, for him and Shing.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And all
Yo,
the
popcorn is expensive, bro. Yeah, don't fuck around, guy. Yo, that shit ain't cheap,
bro. Our regiment would be like, okay, I'm gonna get some popcorn, the drink, and the candy that come with it, maybe. And then she'd be like, okay, well, I want to get a tea. I'm like, okay, sure, you're gonna get a tea. The next thing they'll come back with a tea, 2 slices of pizza, and a poutine. And I'm just like, so how is it $40? Trust, bro. Trust.
That shit adds up, bro.
Yeah, I'd just be like, where's the tea? Like, oh, it's in here. I'm like, oh, okay, but the pizza though, like, and the poutine, and then I'd be like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
But like, I love the experience, and I just hope they find a way. Like, the one thing that I don't know if this will be a benefit, but those like smaller VIP theaters where they have like less people and it's more of a date thing. I wonder if that will be an avenue that we'll see theaters kind of going with, on the basis of smaller venues that they don't have as high of a cost in. I don't know, because I don't know what, like, I think that a lot of these theaters are going to disappear, like the actual physical buildings. They'll tear them down, they'll put up some other thing in the future, and some of these theaters might have to relocate to smaller things if the companies survive, or smaller theater companies kind of come up and buy up the stuff from the big ones that failed, and then try to make something happen. I hope something exists, right? And I hope that there's a level of mix between that and streaming, and I hope that theaters find their way into being part of it. I think that theaters should have thought years ago of being involved in the Netflixes of the world, to secure themselves. I get it's competition, but where is Blockbuster today? Like, you saw that lesson, and then you're gonna fight the same way that Blockbuster fought it. Like, because you see, like, Cineplex, our Canadian theater, that you can buy movies and you can stream, and nobody's touching it, because people either buy it on Apple for their Apple TV, people just use Netflix, whatever. So it's like you're too late to all of these games. I hope they find a place, and I don't want the theaters to go away, but they need to some way to have money right now.
So for me, like, honestly, COVID, like, is such a unique tool in terms of like deconstructing our society, like all the things that we liked about our society. And like, in this regard, it's like it literally overnight became a massive problem for the movie industry. Like movie theaters, movie theaters and going to movie theaters with my friends was a cornerstone of my social circle. And you all know that I'm a social guy, the social butterfly here.
Something about the way you said that, bro. All I just gotta say is, hold on a second. Pause.
But like, that was where I would like going to see movies was an event. It's like, hey, let's go see a movie. That means, hey, let's go for dinner. Hey, do you want to like meet up beforehand? Do you want to hang out beforehand? Do you want to hang out afterwards? And I always went in group settings. Like, I would go by myself if like I needed a break from like organizing like 30 people going or like 15 people going. Now, granted, it sounds like I'm tooting my own horn a little bit, but like that was a big part of my social circle. And like already social circles are being crushed under COVID. Now we're not able to go out and enjoy movie theaters. When I was a kid, I hated the fact that I had to ask my parents to drive me. I became an adult so I could finally drive to the movie theater. Now I can't go.
Okay, like don't pretend like you just became an adult like 1 year ago. Okay, it's like I've been driving for 3 months, and then the movie. Actually, imagine just turning like getting your full license. Oh, and like
wow,
and you were just like a young Umar. Oh, that's a hurting.
Darcy, that hurt me actually a little bit. I felt that for those poor souls, this entire generation. It's like, I got my license next month. Oh,
not even next month, next day, bro. Lockdown. No one's going anywhere. You're like, oh shit.
Next thing you know, Umar creates like a outreach program with a streaming service for all these kids.
For all disenfranchised. But yeah, so for me, I am scared for the movie industry, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what my life will be like if the movie industry goes under.
Yeah, because that was a big part of your life, man. I remember you organized all of our movie going functions and stuff.
Yeah. And going back to what you were saying, Tactix, like Endgame is like, leaving the movie aside, going to see Endgame was the greatest cinematic experience of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Not the best movie of my life, the greatest cinematic experience. I was there opening day, the night before opening day, with a packed, like I mean a freaking packed, you know, we're on this thing, fucking packed auditorium. And there were people ahead of me and behind me that I didn't know who the fuck they were, and I was grabbing their legs, being like, "Oh my God!" and this guy in front of me came up and gave me a high five, like during the scene. Like, you okay there, Darce?
Why are you just grabbing random dudes' legs like that, bro?
Bro. His description, I don't know if it's Endgame or an orgy. I'm just he's like, people in front of me, behind me. I was prepping to make a joke about him saying like people sitting in his lap, but then he's like, I was grabbing this guy's leg, and I'm like, I'm done.
You sure that was his leg, bro?
Yeah, he's like,
that was his hammer.
You show up to the movie and it's like Endgame. like an air quote, you're like, it seems safe.
But nonetheless, like I'm glad I got that. Like, I could technically die a happy person because I had Endgame. But at the same time, I wasn't hoping that would be the final one. I kind of hoped it was going to be like the first revitalization of the movie-going experience. But
that's right. Yo, what was the last movie you saw in the theater before the lockdown? Do you remember?
Yo, everyone answer this question. Let me.
I remember the last movie I was going to see. I was debating on seeing it. I wasn't really 100% into seeing it, but I was debating on it because there was nothing out at the time. It was that Vin Diesel movie, the superhero one.
Yeah,
I ended up downloading it later and watching it just because I was curious. It wasn't a great film. It was. Let me see the Vin.
I forgot what it's called. It's based on a comic book.
Bloodshot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was prepping to like maybe talk to the woman and be like, hey, you want to go see that? She likes Vin Diesel and stuff like that. She loves action films. Onward
was the last one I saw. I was supposed to see Tenet because that's when lockdown kind of like eased,
Mhm.
but I never got a chance to see it because, like, well, no one wanted to go because everyone was scared of COVID, which fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, Onward was the last thing I saw in movie theaters.
Interesting.
How about
Yeah.
The last movie I saw was Unhinged. This was when the lockdown kind of lifted and people like things were slowly starting to open up. But that was the last movie I saw in movie theaters.
you? Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah, man, like I'm with you guys on this one. It's just like I honestly don't know how the movie industry is going to survive. At the rate it's going, it looks bad. But like, I'm really hoping something happens as a positive, if not continue going the way it's going.
Man, if anything, when I move out, there are 3 things that I want in my house: a small yoga studio, a small gym, garage gym preferably, and then my own home movie theater with a giant projector and popcorn popping in the background, bro. That you don't have to pay $40 for.
Well, nonetheless, at the rate we're going, we may have to all get like they may start selling in-home movie theater appliances, and we all
Most likely, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they've always been selling stuff that's like that, and it's not a big stretch. Like, people are just going to invest more in it. So I think I know what the last movie I saw before the movie theater closed. I'm just like Googling what movies came out in February of 2020 because I forget. And I think last time I saw was Sonic the Hedgehog.
I was just going to say that actually.
Oh yes, I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah, because like I think we went with the some like young niece and nephews to take them out to a movie, and I'm pretty sure it was the last one. And then I was trying to go see the Vin Diesel one, more out of just like it's the best movie right now.
Actually, I watched that after I trained your girl.
Oh, word.
Yeah, because I remember I watched that. I remember it very vividly. I watched that at Vaughan Mills, or no, not Vaughan Mills. Whatever the closest theater is to.
Word.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I'm just like hoping that we have something, and like just that point, like that Vin Diesel Bloodshot film. It's like it's an all right film, and I feel like the theater going forward, like I think it's just gonna have to consolidate itself and find a way to like to make money in a more minimal situation. And obviously concessions is a big part of that. I don't know. It's like what we do come back and the concessions are like $50, like $60 now. And it's just more and more expensive. Yeah. It's not going to help them. They know that. It's just going to suck. Right. So.
Well, let's move on to the next topic before we depress ourselves anymore. as my voice cracks, I apparently start bursting in tears. Which, to be fair, this would cause that. If the movie industry actually went under, yo, man, you guys would have to like hire me some sort of like crisis counselor, because I would have like an existential crisis for sure.
Guess we're going to get that on the horn.
As long as we're as long as we're still getting movies. I mean, granted, we're probably not going to get as many new movies as we typically would if the theaters were still open. But as long as the movie industry itself as a whole doesn't completely tank, then yeah.
I mean, like the when COVID lifts and if we don't have movie theaters, even if we do have movie theaters, I honestly think that there's gonna be one person every decent friend circle that's gonna have some kind of like home theater setup, and people are gonna do a lot more going, which is not gonna help the movie, like the theater industry, let's say. But I think there's gonna be a lot of people where it's like, like they'll set up to have like 5-6 people come over and have a whole thing of it, and people bring their stuff, and because it's just will, right? But then there are always people who want to go to the theater because they just want to get out, right? So
yeah. All right, so let's transition to our final topic of this podcast, and that is, we knew about this before we found out about Wonder Girl, but we never talked about it, so we'll talk about it now. The Gotham PD spinoff, and a spinoff from the current The Batman movie that's being made. There was, I think it's officially announced that they are creating a spinoff TV series based on Gotham PD, and it's going to be called Gotham PD. So my thoughts, my question to you guys is, what are your thoughts?
First off, I got to jump in here. When you proposed this as an agenda topic, and I was like, freaked out is because I totally forgot that it was a spinoff of the Batman the movie that's coming out, and I thought it was a spinoff from the TV show Gotham. I was like, I don't want that. Like, I don't want just like, first off, that show is already Gotham PD. I don't want them without everything else. Like, can you imagine? It's like, like just like the desk life of like, oh, guess we couldn't do this today. Like, get nothing done now. So it's like everything that happened before or after Batman is like, I don't know, it's just boring.
Oh, God. So,
based off this movie, I'm super excited. I'm just worried that like,
really, you're excited for the series.
I'd be excited to see an HBO Gotham PD kind of thing. I feel like whatever that they're creating it off of, what based off of what we've seen, if in the same universe and if it's like sideline around, I think like stories that are to the side, kind of like what we talk about in the perspective of Star Wars and how there's great stories elsewhere. I think it could be interesting. I'm just worried though because of Pattinson and like everything he's doing or not doing that could be affecting the movie and what that could do to affect the quality of the show.
T?
I don't care. I really don't. Just like I didn't care about Krypton, I do not care about this. I really don't give a shit. Like I want to see Batman. I don't care about Gotham PD. I'll wait until the reviews come out, and if it's decent enough, I'm looking for at least a 7 or higher for it to pique my interest. Otherwise, it's like, what are you giving me? What kind of spectacle are you providing for me that I need to know that's going to entice me to keep watching this show? You're already setting it up in a world where Batman is supposed to exist, but we're never going to see Batman in the show. Presumably,
you don't see like his cape flapping.
I don't care. I don't want to see that. I want to see him, right?
But we're going to see what. Well, I'm assuming
is it confirmed that we would like it'll just be a no Batman kind of thing?
We don't know. Honestly, like right now, all the fact is like they've said that they're making a TV series. That's it. Like we haven't gotten details. I mean, for me personally, I'm with you, Tactix. I hated Gotham. I watched like 7 episodes with you, and that was it. The concept of it just is ludicrous in my opinion because you're defeating the whole. Like I get what you're saying, Darcy, in terms of like the Mandalorian. It's like Star Wars. It's like there's a lot you can draw on that. Unfortunately, I don't believe that's a factor for these comic book stories because if you're not focusing on the main hero, then you should at the very least get like mini series. You shouldn't get like long stretching series on like people that no one knows about. Like unless you want to do like C or D level characters, like superhero characters who are dealing with like C or D level villains. But like if you're just doing like, because the way Gotham was is that it basically found like the childlike or origin version of all Batman's villains when he was still a kid, and like Jim Gordon dealing with it and all that sort of crap. Now that again, yeah, agreed. The Mandalorian works because, like you've said in the past, this is a rich world with a shit ton of stuff you can talk about, and like brand new characters doing the same sort of situations but in different ways of like things that are only being dealt with. You can't really do that with Batman. Like even with Superman, like unless you go into like forget about Krypton. Let's do like new Krypton. Like it's the Kandor's been blown up. All the Kryptonians from Kandor are out, and they have their own colony. Let's focus on them, their interactions with Earth, that sort of thing. And Superman is barely in it. That I can be okay with. This, on the other hand, it's like yeah, I can't do that.
So let me throw something out here. Now, but by all means, first of all, I want to clarify. When I say I'm excited, I don't mean like I'm like, oh, I just mean like I'm like it's HBO. It's not CW or the other one. So for me, it's like I'm more open to giving it a chance. But here's what I hope it is. Because if it ends up being what exactly you guys are saying, and it's very likely to be, then I'm gonna be like, okay, whatever. There's only 2 reasons why I'm kind of like interested to give it like a 3-episode chance right out of the gate, right?
Okay.
One is that again, it's HBO, and let's look at what they've done with like Lovecraft why am I getting the name of that wrong?
Lovecraft Country.
Yeah, it's Lovecraft Country. It just sounded weird to me. So Lovecraft Country and the Watchmen. Like right? Like just progressive, pushing things forward, them taking risks as they always do. I'm interested to see what they would do, and if they probably had to be presented something that's rich, because if it was anything close to the Gotham show we already had, it's like they would have rejected it. They would have rejected that right out of the gate because it's just boring, right? So that's the one thing. And the other thing, this is what I hope that they do story wise. And I don't know exactly how you do all these pieces, but I kind of hope that it's actually a way for them to build up the origin around villains to drop into the movies. So it's really more about the investigation, and you're finding the hints at these characters becoming who they are, and in a way where it's like there's actually a payoff, and it comes in the following two Batman films.
Yeah.
That way you don't have to go into these Batman films and like do longer stuff about these characters. They're actually using it to expedite how fast they can get into the depth of the movies they want, the way they want to. If they do that, then I'm like, yeah, this would be a great show. But if it is like a completely separate thing that has no interconnection, and it's just trying to like draw out like good acting but like not good story, then I'm bored to all hell, and you know it's canned at like probably 2 episodes.
All right, let me ask you guys this. I have never seen Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I saw maybe like 3 or 4 episodes overall of like, I think it's 6 seasons or whatever.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever watch any of it?
I watched a couple of episodes, but I think I know what you're getting at, Umar. And to Darcy's point, I like that idea. To your last point, I like that idea. The only thing is that, and I feel like with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they kind of suffered in this kind of ordeal as well, is the fact that you're going to be, one of the properties are always going to be at the mercy of each other, right? So it's like you always have to fall, like whatever the show is doing, it has to always coincide with what the movie is doing, and not so much vice versa, because I feel like the movie, if you're trying to tie a show to the movie realm, then you're basically always catering to the movie because you're going to get a bigger audience with the movie property, right?
Yeah.
And so I feel like, while that's a good idea, Darcy, I think they might run the risk of that happening in a similar way that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did, because that's how Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. started their format originally, where they were tying everything to the movie, and then eventually they kind of just deviated and started doing their own thing, from what I understand. What I will say, though, to your point, though, also, Darcy, is that it's actually in reference to something that you said a while back, a couple episodes ago, in regards to Gotham as its own kind of character piece in itself, where it's like the world in itself is its own kind of spectacle, right? Where it's like, when we look at Tim Burton's world building in Gotham, it almost has it's its own being, it's its own entity in a sense. That world seems very like mystical and fantastical. Like, it doesn't look like a real world, but there's a lot of layers like immersed in that world. Versus when you compare it to Christopher Nolan's depiction of Gotham, where it's almost like there's no life to it.
Yeah.
The only time you get a sense of, Gotham being as run down as it's supposed to be is in Batman Begins, when you actually see when they go underground. But other than that, like in all the other movies, Gotham just looks like it looks like Chicago would look in everyday life, like in a normal scenario situation, right? And so now it's empty, right? And like, based on what we've seen in the Batman trailer, we're getting this kind of gothic undertone within Gotham, right? It's not just within the characters themselves. It's Gotham as well. So
I just want to take 1 minute to throw one thing up, because I know we got to wrap here. Is like, the difference between that I hope that they do, because it's HBO and that they build drama series and they don't think as episodically, is that the S.H.I.E.L.D. show was trying to like constantly build up its own characters and do its own thing. Only way I think this would really work well is if they actually write the show where the end of every season builds up to a movie. Right? Or what they do,
agreed.
They have to write the whole thing as a plan, not as a like, here's our show and how do we tie it in? And we have 2 separate properties. They actually are one giant property, and they're using the show to allow them to do more with the movies. That's the only way I feel like that would really work. Otherwise, yes, it'll be Heroes of S.H.I.E.L.D. or Heroes, whatever, Marvels of S.H.I.E.L.D. Shields of Marvel. I don't remember.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
There it is. Yep.
Okay. Well, yeah, no, I'm in agreement with both of you, like 100%.
Cool.
All right. Well, that's a wrap on today's episode. This has been another edition of the Geeky Bros podcast. I'm your boy Tactix.
It's just Darcy.
There it is.
And this is Big Geek Umar. Live long and prosper, y'all, and please like and subscribe.
Peace.